Tom Edmunds passed away on July 3rd at age 74. At the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting, commissioners shared their memories of Edmunds, who served several terms on the Clinton City Council, including 2 stints as mayor. Commissioner John Weiss says there may not have been a person in the community who knew more about Clinton than Edmunds.
We lost an individual in the city that for decades has been nothing but a promoter of the city of Clinton. Started out with a band that came up on the square and would play on Friday nights. As a young man, became a banker. He helped numerous people with getting businesses and loans and things to get going with. Then he got into politics. He's been mayor, he's been commissioner, and he was an individual that just knew no bounds about where he was at and what he wanted to do. You think of something from 40 years ago, ask him a question, and he would give you an answer. And when you go down and finally get down in the basement and look it up, it was right. You didn't have to, really got to the point where you didn't even have to second guess the man. He had a memory that was better than anything I've ever seen. He was an encyclopedia that knew everything in and out of the finance of Clinton, and he's going to really be hard-pressed to find someone that's going to be able to fill his shoes. I just hope his family, everybody gets through the funeral on Friday, and anybody can come. It's 9 o'clock at visitation, and I think he deserves a good send-off. Danny's been working on some things that's going to be really nice. I got the honor of being one of the pallbearers, and that really made me feel really well placed, because I do anything in the world for the man, because he really did have nothing but a caring and great heart for Clinton, Illinois.
Commissioner Kenny Buchanan recalled Edmunds' many roles in his time working for the city of Clinton and then working together on the council.
This city council, we lost a great person. Tom did a lot for this city. Tom was actually my boss for a while when I worked at landfill, and I moved on to a different department, so he wasn't my boss any longer. But also working with him on the council, I really had the pleasure of working with Tom on the council. I really enjoyed it, working with him. Enjoyed him as a person. Talk every once in a while. Always made me laugh. He was a big boss.
Commissioner Dan Ballinger kept his comments brief, noting Edmunds' heart for Clinton.
I'll start off with Tom. There's probably nobody in this town that cared about the city of Clinton more than Tom Edmunds. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Services for Edmunds will be at 11 a.m. Friday, July 10th at the Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton, with Pastor Darrell Howard officiating. Burial will follow at Memorial Park Cemetery in Clinton. Visitation will be 9 to 11 a.m. Friday at the funeral home. Memorials may be directed to the Organ Fund at Clinton Presbyterian Church or the Clinton Rotary Club. Visit DeWittDailyNews.com for the full obituary. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, Warner Library seeing great summer reading participation so far. When Haley Roberson takes the reins as the city manager for the city of Farmer City on August 1st, she will be starting when a lot is happening in the community. On the WHOW morning show, with outgoing city manager Taylor Baxter, Roberson told the Hart Media Group there is a lot to market for their small community in DeWitt County.
Like Taylor mentioned, there's already some development going on that he had really kind of gotten started. And I think maybe even there were some conversations about it prior to Taylor's arrival. And so that was going well. And it's some housing. One thing that, and this was a hard thing for me to believe that rural communities struggle with is there enough housing? You're like, populations typically are declining in olive rural. Why don't we have enough houses? But that is the situation. So Farmer City's got a really interesting housing and rental development that's happening. And Farmer City is positioned great, kind of nestled right there between Bloomington and Champaign, and is really going to be a good is going to be a good fit, I think, for a lot of people who are looking for another place to call home and maybe don't want to deal with just everything that you have in the city, but still have access to everything that you might want.
According to Roberson, one major benefit that folks might eventually find in Farmer City is that they source their own electricity for its residents. With AI and data centers becoming a big business, she feels the reliability of the town's electricity is going to appeal to a lot of people.
The other piece of the marketing that I'm hoping to really incorporate, and I've already tipped my hand pretty good that I'm kind of an electric nerd on that, is that Farmer City does provide its own electric. You're going to have better service in terms of that, in terms of electricity, being in a community like Farmer City, where you're not calling a 1-800 number and just hoping that somebody's going to show up. You get to call a specific person and let them know that you're down. We know everything that's happening on our grid and on all of our circuitry. We can see it, and we have specific people who are getting over there and getting all of the different functions up. We come closer to being able to guarantee 24/7, 365 electric service than anybody else. And that's going to look really advantageous, especially with what's coming up in the future, not only for people who are residents, but for businesses as well, who have to have that support.
Additionally, Roberson feels Farmer City offers a very unique educational experience for families, being that it is a smaller school where students can try an assortment of things during their academic careers.
You have just all the nature that is there, around you for the biking and the walking trails and all of that. You have the lake that's beautiful. I mean, in terms of quality of life, you really get to step that up a couple notches when you go somewhere like Farmer City. The other thing that I think gets overlooked in rural communities is the schools. If your child can have such a much more well-rounded academic experience in a rural community because they can participate in everything. Whereas in larger cities, you're seeing kids have to specialize in whatever it is they want to do, from drama to football. They've got to kind of specialize in that at junior high. They lose out on a lot. But in a community like Farmer City, they can try different things all throughout their academic career and really come out, I think, a lot more well-rounded because they've had so many different experiences.
Roberson calls being rural a true community experience. She feels it is what makes rural living unique to the experience in a bigger metropolitan area. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at BaumChevyBuick.com right from the start.
It's the quiet moments you count on. A call that connects instantly, a show that never buffers, a home that just works. That's the difference with Connexus Fiber Internet. We built a buried fiber network designed for consistency, earning us the title of top-rated fiber internet provider in Illinois. With plans starting as low as $25 a month and 3-year price lock options, it's reliability you can feel without the unpredictability. Because with Connexus, connection means everything. Experience better at Connexus.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 20 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. The start of the summer always draws a lot of attention to summer reading, and it seems that the momentum hasn't stopped. On the WHOW Morning Show Tuesday, Mel Snow, youth program coordinator with the Warner Library, told the Heart Media Group that participation in the Summer Reading Club has been great so far. She reminds that you can still sign up until the program's conclusion event on August 1st.
It's been really great. It's been really fun. We've been busy. It's been hot. We just had a great program yesterday where we painted ceramic garden creatures for people to put out in their gardens, because our theme this year is Plant a Seed, Read, as a reminder. And if you have not signed up for summer reading, there is plenty of time to do so. You have until August 1st, which is our celebration this year, the grand celebration for the end of summer reading, August 1st at 10 a.m. You do not need to register for that. You can just come out. It is the Tater Tots this year. They are a musical duo out of Springfield.
Okay.
And they do kids songs, covers their own songs, and it's like an energetic music show. Is that not adorable?
The theme for this year's Summer Reading Club is Plant a Seed, Read. There are 3 different reading levels you can sign up for, making this program accessible to anyone in the community, from early readers to advanced.
And our theme this year is Plant a Seed, Read. So you are a butterfly, a bumblebee, or a bookworm. And that is dependent on what you decide how much you're reading. So you're filling in a circle. Every page has the same amount of circles. It's what you do to fill in that circle. So as a butterfly, it's one whole book. So if you're picture books, just learning to read, reading with a mom or a parent, or maybe you want to really challenge yourself, you read a lot, you can do the butterfly and you will fill in your circle when you finish one book. The bumblebee is 30 minutes of reading, and the bookworm is an hour of reading before you fill in a circle. So you decide which path works best for you, and you come in when you finish each row. Each row has 8 bubbles. When you fill in each bubble, you'll come in, you get a prize from our treasure chest, and you get a ticket. And the tickets are what you use towards our grand prizes.
If you're trying for the best odds of winning a grand prize, Snow indicates that the library is offering extra reading club tickets for attending events. She says this has helped boost the popularity of their programs this summer.
Like the Nintendo Switch. We have a Neato basket this year that has been very popular. We have some experiences where you can shadow a police officer for a day, shadow a firefighter for a day. We have a metal detector, Barbie Dream House, Lego sets. I mean, we have 27, I believe, grand prizes this year. So you can also decide that you don't want anything in our treasure chest and double your tickets and double your chances to win something big. You also get extra tickets this year for coming to our events. If you want to get more chances, just show up, or please register for events that need registration. But we have a lot of events that don't need registration that you can just show up for, and you'll get extra tickets. It took a little bit for it to catch on. I think this is the first year we've done it. So people just now started realizing that they can do that. And so now, yes, it has definitely noticed a big increase in that as far as participation, which is great. That's what we want. So our story times are always really popular. We have those every Wednesday at 10 a.m. That's our toddler time. And then every Friday at 10 a.m. we have preschool pals, and we do a small craft, and that's for the older kids, the 3 to 5. The stories are a little longer, and it's just great. They practice their listening skills and sitting, and we do some dancing. So that is always really popular. And then we just had an equipment day out on the lawn. The rain didn't cooperate us with it so much, but Case brought, or Central Illinois Ag brought some Case lawn equipment. Then we had this mobile science lab that was so popular. We had from U of I, they came and had 2 different labs, natural history survey. It was very cool.
Snow states that any kind of reading can go towards your reading log. It's all about avoiding the summer slide and staying sharp as the school year approaches. If you have been tracking your reading but have yet to sign up, she notes that you can put that on your reading log as well.
And that's our last day. Even if you wanted to sign up that day, you still could. And then come to the kickoff or the celebration and have a pizza party with our friends, which is sponsored by the Friends of the Library. We couldn't do this without them. They give us a lot of funding and volunteer their time and fundraise for us all year. And they really help us with a lot of the stuff. You can sign up anytime between now and our celebration, which is August 1st. You can sign up that date if you want. All reading counts. We just want to encourage you to read. We're avoiding that summer slide where we just forget everything we learned all year because we're not keeping our brains active. So that's really all we're trying to do, is encourage you to read. You get to pick which path works for you, how much reading you do. We make it as easy as we can on you, the patron. We just want to encourage you to continue reading and use the library throughout summer.
There are still more summer reading club events to participate in through the coming weeks, and we'll have more on that with Snow in the days ahead from the Heart Media Group. Learn more about the Summer Reading Club and the Warner Library by visiting vwarner.org or by finding them on Facebook. An Illinois lawmaker wants to provide therapeutic boxing relief for veterans battling Parkinson's disease. Republican Congressman Darren LaHood teamed up with Illinois Democratic Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski to introduce the Boxing Therapy for Parkinson's Access Act. The goal is to expand evidence-based boxing programs for veterans and those living with Parkinson's.
Well, boxing therapy has been a proven mobility exercise for people that suffer from Parkinson's. And this allows them, the therapy boxing allows them to remain more independent in their daily lives. So, I mean, that's what NIH has told us, the National Institutes of Health. So Congresswoman Budzinski, a Democrat from the Champaign area, and I partnered together on this particular bill. I would also mention that I recently visited a facility in Minooka, Illinois, which is in Grundy County in my district, what's called Rock Steady Boxing Class. And I saw firsthand personal stories of people that suffer from Parkinson's and how this boxing therapy can be helpful. So what our legislation will do is help direct funds through the VA and a number of our programs to help with Parkinson's disorder and to allow people to have relief from the deficiencies of Parkinson. And so we have a number of co-sponsors already on the bill. We're working to get this across the finish line and bring more access to this therapy, which will help people across the country.
According to the American Parkinson's Disease Association, roughly 110,000 veterans currently live with Parkinson's disease. Thinking about harvesting some of that garden produce as the calendar turns to July, make sure to start looking at that seed packet, says U of I Extension horticulture educator Ken Johnson.
So depending on when you got your tomatoes out, and where you're at in the state, tomatoes can be coming, starting to ripen up soon if they haven't already, especially with some of the earlier cultivars. So with those, typically we think of tomatoes as red. Most tomatoes are red, so when they start getting that red color, but there are tomatoes that will be yellow when they're ripe or orange. So kind of keep in mind of what type of tomato you planted and then start looking for that coloring. Peppers would be another one. So if you're growing like green bell peppers, typically we're picking them when they're 3-4 inches long and they're firm. If you're growing other types of bell peppers, they can be red, yellow, orange. You want to wait until they get the color that they're supposed to be. You can still harvest them green as well, though. And basically with the peppers, sweet peppers, when they are easily break off the plant is when it's time to pick them. If you have to kind of tug them and force them off, they're probably not quite ready yet.
Online gardening resources are available at extension.illinois.edu. Now for your local obituaries. Skylar Justin Roberts, 43, of Clinton, passed away from this life at his and his wife's home, surrounded by family and friends, on June 30th, 2026 at 7:22 p.m. A celebration of Skylar's life will be held at a later date. The family entrusted Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton with cremation rights. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news is now.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The U.S.-Iran ceasefire, President Trump says, as far as he's concerned, it's over. Speaking at the NATO summit following an exchange of fire between Iran and the U.S., President Trump is lashing out at the Iranian leadership, calling members of the leadership liars. Along with military action, the U.S. has revoked a license that authorized the sale of Iranian oil on world markets, and oil prices have been on the rise as of this morning. Following the latest sexual assault allegations against him, the pressure is growing on Democrat Graham Plattner to drop out of the U.S. Senate race in Maine. One of his strongest backers, Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, is urging Plattner to step aside. In New York City, it appears that crews have now managed to stabilize a Midtown Manhattan high-rise building. And on Wall Street, Dow futures 582 points lower. This is SRN News.
Are you carrying more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Do you feel like you're running on a financial treadmill, making payment after payment, month after month, yet never getting ahead? If you're tired of watching your hard-earned money disappear into interest charges, there may be options available to help you take back control of your finances. At Total Financial Freedom, they'll show you what qualified consumers may be able to save through programs designed to help them resolve debt faster than making minimum payments alone. The consultation is free, confidential, and comes with absolutely no obligation. Why spend years, sometimes decades, paying thousands in interest when there may be a better path forward? Total Financial Freedom is a Christian-owned company that has helped thousands of Americans pursue financial freedom for nearly 20 years and is proudly A+ rated and accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now and ask how you can receive a complimentary copy of The Debt Dietitian. Stop running in place. Start moving toward financial freedom at 866-744-7344. 866-744-7344.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Peyton Tolley allowed 2 hits in 6 shutout innings. Andrew Monasterio and Kadane Rafaela homered, and the Boston Red Sox beat the Chicago White Sox 8-1 on Tuesday night.
The White Sox struggled to find any offensive output Tuesday night, and their counterparts, the other Sox, the Red Sox, touched up Noah Schultz a couple times in the second.
There's a line shot deep left field, and that is gone just inside the foul pole. A low liner for Andrew Monasterio, and the pitch is hit high and deep to left field. This is trouble, and it is gone over the bullpen.
Sox fall 8-1 as they open their final homestand of the first half of the season. But a Guardians loss to the Twins keeps them alone atop the American League Central. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage on Wednesday night starting at 6 o'clock on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
It's more Sox versus Sox action tonight on WHOW as Boston and Chicago play out the second game of the series. Pregame starts at 6 p.m. Matthew Boyd pitched 6 shutout innings. Alex Bregman drove in 2 runs, and the Chicago Cubs beat the Baltimore Orioles 5-2 on Tuesday night. Miguel Amaya scored 3 times for the Cubs, who have won 11 of 14 to tighten their grip on the top spot in the NL wildcard. Making his 3rd start since being sidelined for 7 weeks with a knee injury, Boyd, who is 4-1, allowed 3 hits, struck out 7, and walked just 2. The left-hander is 2-0 with a 1.72 ERA since returning from the injured list on June 25th. Cubs reliever Ryan Rollison entered in the 7th with a 4-0 lead and promptly gave up 2 singles and a walk to load the bases. Adley Rutschman delivered a 2-out, 2-run single off former Oriole Jacob Webb before Gunnar Henderson struck out. Tyler Ferguson worked a perfect 8th, and Trent Thornton got 3 straight outs for his 2nd save. Baltimore starter Shane Baz is 4-8 and retired the first 8 batters he faced, but ended up yielding 3 runs and 6 hits in 6 innings. Bregman hit an RBI single in the 3rd and brought home Amaya with a fielder's choice grounder in the 5th for a 3-0 lead. Amaya singled and scored on a sacrifice fly by Michael Busch in the 7th, and Dansby Swanson made it 5-2 with an RBI single in the 8th. The start of the game was delayed for 56 minutes because of the threat of rain. The grounds crew stood poised behind the rolled-up tarp for about an hour, but the rain never came. Right-hander Colin Rea is 6-5 with a 4.74 ERA and gets the start on Wednesday night against Baltimore righty Dean Kremer, who is 1-1, with a 3.18 ERA. Joey Ortiz homered. Robert Gasser pitched a career-high 7 2/3 innings, and the Milwaukee Brewers beat the St. Louis Cardinals 10-2 Tuesday night to complete a doubleheader sweep. Jacob Misarowski struck out 11 in the first game of the split doubleheader, which was a makeup from May 5th, and the Brewers won 4-3. Milwaukee has won 4 straight games and 7 in a row against St. Louis. The Cardinals lost their 4th straight. Gasser is 2-3 and allowed just a 2-run homer to Nelson Velasquez. He struck out 4, walked 1, and scattered 4 hits. Cooper Pratt gave the Brewers a 1-0 lead with a leadoff triple in the 3rd inning and scored on a Christian Yelich groundout. Luis Lara, in his Major League debut, got his first hit and RBI with a 2-run single that gave the Brewers a 3-0 lead in the 5th. Milwaukee broke it open with 7 runs against Cardinals reliever Jared Schuster in the 7th. Ortiz started the outburst with a solo homer, and Bryce Terang, Gary Sanchez, Jack Centurio, and Pratt followed with RBI hits. Cardinals starter Hunter Dobbins has a record of 1-1 and was appointed the team's 27th man for the doubleheader, allowed 3 runs on 4 hits in 5 innings. He struck out 4 and walked 3. With St. Louis trailing by 8, infielder Brian Torres pitched 2 scoreless innings in relief. Cardinals right-hander Michael McGreevy is 3-7 with a 3.12 ERA and will make his final start before the All-Star break after having turned in the rotation pushed back a day. The Brewers counter with left-hander Kyle Harrison, who is 8-1 with a 2.82 ERA in the 4th game of the 5-game series on Wednesday night. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Detroit Tigers beat the Athletics 6-2, while the Pittsburgh Pirates routed the Atlanta Braves 12-4. The Tampa Bay Rays beat the New York Yankees 6-4, while the Miami Marlins beat the Seattle Mariners 6-5 in 10 innings, and the Houston Astros beat the Washington Nationals 6-3. In a very high-scoring game, the Kansas City Royals beat the New York Mets 16-12, while the Philadelphia Phillies took down the Cincinnati Reds 4-1. The Minnesota Twins beat the Cleveland Guardians 3-1, while the Texas Rangers took down the LA Angels 8-3. The San Diego Padres beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 4-1, while the Toronto Blue Jays beat the San Francisco Giants 9-3, and the Colorado Rockies beat the LA Dodgers 4-3. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Mainly sunny skies today with daytime highs approaching 86. Winds out of the south around 5 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies again tonight, lows around 69. Slight chance for storms. Tomorrow, high temperatures reach up to 89, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now, it's 69 degrees.
Let's check Ag News on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLois Yonke. High input costs continue to have a role in farmer sentiment as measured by the Purdue CME Group Ag Economy Barometer. The index was down from 119 in May to a reading of 113 in June. The index of current conditions was down 5 points. The index of future expectations was down 7 compared to the month before. June's current conditions index reading is 26 points less than where we were at the end of 2025, and actually is at its lowest level since the end of 2024. 47% of the survey respondents listed high input costs as their biggest concern. Concern about low crop and livestock prices was 23%. 42% of respondents said high input costs are limiting improvements in this year's financial position. The survey was conducted between June 15 and 19. Only 12% of respondents indicated that their farm operations were better off in June than they had been a year ago. In Washington, Senate Ag Committee Chair John Bozeman says the Department of Agriculture should run foreign food aid programs, not the State Department. Bozeman hopes to make the switch if he can get a farm bill passed, as our Washington correspondent Matt Kay reports.
Most U.S. foreign food